Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right, your super host. Don't forget it. We started off today's show with Mike Davis, not one but two-time Super Bowl champ for the Oakland Raiders, and now owner of Angry Crab Restaurants. You can reach him at angrycrabshack.com. We also had Craig McClure, who's launched Super Longevity Network, who could be reached at superlongevitynetwork.com. And later on, we're going to have the co-founder of Podcast One on the show. But let's get started too. And by the way, thank you for the feedback we continue to receive from having the co-founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation on and the former CEO of UPS International. Well, we've got the founder and chairman of Steiner Sports Marketing and Memorabilia, the largest company of its kind in America regarding sports-related memorabilia, Brandon Steiner, who could be reached at steinersports.com. Brandon, my son's been dying for me to ask this question when he found out you were coming on, is what is the most popular item that you have that you're selling now?
It's a good question, and it's so wide now, with what we're doing. Steph Curry is amazing, so he's probably our lead seller these days. Being that he is not only popular in the States, on the coast, but over the world, China, everywhere. So he's like our number one guy. Just been amazing on the court, and we're really grateful to have him as have a relationship and have a partnership there.
What has most surprised you? You've been in this industry for a while, and what has most surprised you, though? What's been taking place regarding the whole collectible sports industry?
I think, not surprised me because it's been one of my goals, but, getting the leagues and teams and players on board, to understand, how it works. It's complicated. It touches a lot of levels in business when you talk about collecting. It's wholesale, it's retail, it's web, it's online, it's auction platforms. There's a lot of economics to supply and demand, which affects price, authenticity, what's real, which is every brand is fighting for every day to, really, prove to the customer that theirs is the real stuff, theirs is the best stuff. And then there's the ups and downs of players that you think are going to be great. You invest in them or you love them, and then they get hurt or they drop off or they don't end up being what you thought they were going to be. There's the young and the new things on the rise, which are called rookies. And then there's the bona fide blue chips like Apple and IBM, and then those are the Hall of Famers, the ones who won championships. So there's a lot of correlations, I think, to business and collecting and the collectible industry, licensing business. And I think, to me, I love the expansion of it. I like more people are now involved in it. That was my goal when I got in this business, to make it better when I found it, and hopefully I'm doing a good job at doing that.
Well, Brandon, I'm going to tell you what one of your items are that's probably worth the most after you sign it, and it's the Mac computer from 1987. Why? Because you started Steiner Sports from a one-room office with $4,000 and a single Mac computer in 87 to grow the company to over $50 million today. I have to ask you, though, what was the initial thought when you got started? How did you even get in? What was the spark of, hey, I could do this?
It's funny. I wish that I would have that Mac, and I kept it forever and a day. It was such an odd-looking computer. And eventually I got tossed, but I save everything. Back in '87, I just come off. I was in the sports bar business, which back in the early '80s didn't exist. So I was very involved with creating that concept and doing a lot of really, really cool things with the sports bar restaurant business. In '84, there were only 2 sports bars in the whole country. So after doing that, I was trying to open up a huge sports, a huge sports like ESPN zone. And really failed. Weren't able to raise the money. At the time, it was like $1.3 million I needed, and I just couldn't get there. And just decided with all the relationships I had made over the previous 3 or 4 years, I would just start Steiner Sports Marketing. And really just came from, being that I knew a lot of players that were coming into the sports bars that I had met over those years. Just saw there was an opportunity maybe to go match up those players with different companies and relationships, to golf, to do trade shows, a commercial. It really wasn't that complicated. In those days, you either had a player's home phone number, you really had a hard time getting a hold of them. And in a lot of cases, I had those home numbers. I knew how to get a hold of the players because I just met so many of them. And it was just doing their players fan mail and just trying to help them out with their charities and just doing little things just to get started. And that's how Steiner got started.
Incredible. And again, we have the founder of Steiner Sports. You can reach him at Steinersports.com, Brandon Steiner. And you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Show. Make sure you go to our website, Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. The only place where entrepreneurs align, where you have the opportunity to meet many others, including many from our radio show at various events. Again, Eliances.com, Eliances.com. Now, you've also you're the creator of a TV show called Project X that you host. Tell me about that.
I mean, Project X comes from a frustration, when I watch the Shark Tank, and obviously it's an incredible show that's done incredibly well, but it's also doesn't, I feel, give entrepreneurs, the credit and the respect, and in some cases the empathy that it deserves. I mean, when somebody comes up with an idea, I think it's incredibly courageous, the diligence involved with thinking about something that's needed, necessary, to make someone's life easier, better. And yeah, there's profit and capitalism to it too, and I understand why they have to get a little bit into that too. But I just feel like the Sharks, not every great entrepreneurial idea is scalable, is all about the money part of it. There are a lot of good ideas out there, and I just feel that Project X gives people an opportunity that have an idea to get on the platform, talk to myself and other entrepreneurs, and then other people that are listening that are interested in helping entrepreneurs, financing entrepreneurs. It's not so much about what to do with your ideas. Sometimes it's people need the how-to. They need the explanation. They need some guidance, and maybe there are some ideas that aren't scalable, but they're still worthwhile, focusing on and pushing. And I think that the Shark Tank disregards a lot of that. And I don't want the wrong message where I think people watching are like, man, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through that beat-up process. I don't want to. And you don't have to. There are a lot of people who have come up with a lot of great ideas in a small little town that help a few hundred people. There are kids that come up with ideas that help maybe their grade or their school do something easier, faster, better. And some of those ideas are scalable and end up being big ideas, but some of them are really just good enough to help that particular grade or town or school or a housewife. And I think that it's not that my problem with the Shark Tank, that obviously a lot of people like the theatrics in that show. I just don't want the message that to be the message.
Got it.
And Project X, the show that I do live on my Facebook platform, really gives a lot of entrepreneurs an opportunity to voice their troubles, their concerns, their struggle, and I'm going to help them through it. And there's no skin in the game as far as a price to pay to come on the show. All my hope is that I can give you some advice, and then the people that are listening or the people that are calling in can also give you advice and help. And we've had some of that starting up already, where people are watching the show and they see a good idea and then they jump in offline with a person to help them.
And Brandon, what have you seen though as part of maybe some of the magic or the secret sauce of that's been in common for people who have been successful? I mean, and you've met tons of celebrities. You met God knows how many athletes and stuff of that. What have you seen though that is that's they have in common that's made them who they are, including yourself?
Well, I see a lot. First of all, what's very fascinating to me is I see so much with youth. Younger people are unbelievable. This is the best I've seen in years, where I see 14, 15, 16-year-olds, with bona fide ideas or ideas that they're down the road with. A 14-year-old that's been doing something for 3-4 years since they're 8 or 9, and figuring out ways to make money or figuring out a way to make things better. They just need some guidance how to take maybe the next step or how to take that leap. And the risk factor is always difficult with entrepreneurship because there always is some risk. But I love the curiosity I'm seeing from younger kids these days, some of the ideas. And it is challenging to be a younger kid these days because so much has changed so fast that I think, for us, it's almost like it's overwhelming. But for the younger ones that only know that, like, I had a VHS tape the other day, and I have a 17-year-old intern that works in my office, and he didn't know what it was. That's a VHS tape. What are you talking about? What's a VHS tape? A lot of these kids have never seen a payphone. They haven't seen some of the different things all they know is what they know. And when you think about it, there's so much room for improvement. A lot of these ideas that we're now living with are 2, 3, 4 years old. They're nowhere near mature. There's so much room for improvement. For older people that have more of the money, that have the influence, we're just figuring out how to try to get involved and how to play in the game. But for the younger kids, this is all they know.
Right.
And they see it differently, and they see it much bigger, and they see it smarter and better. I really feel like the next 10 years will be very exciting as these kids grow. Even more evolution, more change. It baffles me when a 12-year-old gets on the phone with me on my show and some of the things that comes out of their mouth and how advanced they are.
Absolutely incredible. We've got a little less than a minute left. What do you think is such the fascination in sports collectibles? Why is it that, especially when I go into a room and I see something framed and it's called, why is it that we have this fascination and we're drawn to it?
I think it's simple. It's memories. I think when you think about the best things that happen in your life, married, have kids, and a couple other events, usually in your Fab 5 or Fab 10 is a memory, a sports memory, something great that happened in sports. Your first game with your dad, a championship, a Super Bowl, an All-Star game, your team winning. And I think those are memories that you remember forever, and they're what I call memories that matter. And collectibles help you savor those memories. They help you keep them, and they help you keep them close to you because they're real positive things that happen. And people find a lot of joy in collecting those memories and keeping them alive.
Well, Brandon, you create memories. You created a marketing sports empire from nothing and built it to a $50 million company. I have to go trash diving and find your Mac computer. Excellent. Thank you so much. That's it. Brandon Steiner with Steinersports.com. David Kogan with Eliances.